Okay, so what I've done is I've taken this photograph that I like. I live near Mennonites, and I stopped and took a beautiful picture of, I'm going to turn off these layers. Oops, turned them on again. Um, I, t- I've been drawing a little bit on this as the day has gone on. This is my third class period. So I stopped and I took this nice picture. The light was really good. And I just love these sheep. They're always out and they move around. So I noticed that one day they were close to the road, and I went back when the light was just right, and I photographed these sheep right up close to the road. So I've been wanting to use this picture for some artwork, and so now it's the theme of the week. Like I'm using this in every one of my examples today. So I am using this stylus because it's really important that I do these things the way that you are. And I'm not using my Apple Pencil because it has features that respond to it in Fresco that you don't have available to you, and that does not seem right. So first thing, when you open up a photo in Fresco, you're coming over here, you're inserting it with the image icon, which I already did. And then I'm first coming over, and in the slider area right here, I'm going to lower the opacity so that it's there and it's visible, but it's not too visible. Then the first thing that I did was make like a light pencil tracing of where everything was generally located. See that? Now, I'm not really sure that I'm going to keep that. I just left it there and put it there to kind of identify the layout. So then I wanted to start working on separate layers to start putting in the subject matter, because I might not keep that outline drawing. So I started to put in things that were in the drawing, but on separate layers. Okay, so one of the things, let me go back to this one for 1 second and turn up the opacity, the photo layer. Because one of the things that is true, look at this photo, and you know this from your own life experience, even if you haven't thought about it in quite a while or ever, is that as landscape and things outside, as they go off in the distance, um, things that are further away appear hazier, and they lack the vibrant colors and detail of things that are very close to us. You can see that at work in this photograph. Like we can see the leaves and blades of grass that are right in front of the camera, but you cannot possibly see that as things get further away. Also, the colors, which are probably generally going to be similar, are very vibrant up close, but they're really kind of gray as you get further and further away. That's called atmospheric perspective, the fact that things get hazier and grayer. And the fact that things are detailed is just, reality, because it's 2 feet away versus 3 miles. Okay. So you want to try to duplicate or use that technique in your own artwork to help create that sense of perspective. So when I started painting, I was keeping that in mind as I moved along. So I started to do a whole bunch of little things as I was working. And like I said, this was, let's see, I've already done 2 classes. So I started with this band of trees through the middle. So let me show you a couple of things that didn't work. All right. So first of all, I'm showing you my brush choice. I have it on my favorites, and I'm using pencil. I have a rough pencil. I have a pencil, and a scratchy pencil. So I think I was using scratchy pencil for this area. And like trees, I'm thinking about Van Gogh. I'm thinking that he doesn't, like he uses very controlled, he doesn't just scribble a lot, but he uses pretty controlled and deliberate marks. Remember yesterday when I was describing things, he follows like the form and the direction of a lot of things. And I started with the round end because it's further away. It wasn't super detailed. So like when I draw trees in the background, a lot of times it feels like I go straight to like evergreen trees. But this does not match, does it? That looks terrible. It does not match what's actually in this picture. So I felt kind of wrong doing it. So what I noticed was there were, oh, I want to get on my right layer. Hold on, please. That's my middle ground tree layer. So what I noticed was I could put in like some of these trunks where the tree trunk is actually showing through. And I didn't need to worry about it being exact. I didn't need to worry about it being a complete line, kind of like what Mary Carol and I talked about a few days ago. But then what I started to notice was like, okay, well, what do the trees actually look like? Because I'm going to turn this layer off. It's distracting me. I needed to kind of mimic that. And what I noticed is that there were some kind of repeating lines that were kind of, I was on the wrong layer, sort of like this wavy, like the waviness of the edge. I could pick that up. So then I started to kind of come in and you saw that the ones in front are much darker. Here's where you control your size. Here's where you control your flow. Flow means like how much is coming out. So I can play around with those. Oops. I actually like it because the stuff that I'm kind of playing with right now feels like it's a little further back. So I'm going to make this a little, definitely this stuff, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller and a little bit less defined, a little bit lighter. Okay, so to see what it really looks like though, I have to turn off this layer because it's going to be on white. All right, that's kind of getting somewhere. It's really light. I don't know how that's going to be, but I keep up with it. All right, so I want to show you some other things. Like, all right, I took a lot of heat for this, but I thought, you know, these sheep and this front part, this is really going to be my focal point. So I want to try to figure out a way that I can show some of the texture and detail because that's really important in this sheep area. People were telling me that, well, I didn't get much feedback, but I was like, what do you guys think of this sheep texture that I'm trying? And I got someone saying, yeah, it's all right. And then somebody else saying that is not what sheep look like. So I'm going to try something else. I'll go to rough pencil. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go to, all right, you see that? There's definitely, oh dear. All right, maybe instead of trying actual curly cues, which is what I was doing, I'll just try to imitate sheep wool by making it appear like the surface is rough. Okay, this is actually flash flooding and mudslides. Oh dear, I don't know what that's referring to. So if I come in and kind of make marks like this, maybe, now these are not black sheep, so I'm having a concern about how dark this is. All right, so watch this. Remember how I turned down the opacity on my layer, my photo layer? I can do that same thing, oops, on this layer. So if I come in and I turn down the opacity, maybe. Let's turn this off and see. Well, maybe. What do you guys think? Is it looking sheepy yet? Oops, I'm on the wrong layer. Maybe, I don't know. I kind of feel like, remember if you, I don't know if you know this, if you hold this, it turns into an eraser. So right now I'm kind of coming in, I feel like maybe I overdid that. So I'm like erasing some of it. All right, now let's turn this back on. Go back to my sheep layer. I think that's this one. And now let's, oh, I already have the right brush. I'm gonna go back to the blunt end. I feel a little more comfortable drawing with that. I'm wondering, I'm gonna add another new layer because I'm gonna work on this grass. I wonder if I could kind of define the edge by, that's terrible. Why doesn't that look like grass? I need a regular pencil, I think. Oh, there's like no in between. So if I kind of So Van Gogh made a lot of these little marks like this. So now if I'm going around my sheep, maybe I can kind of make them stand out. And if I come in here and define the edges a little bit, remember your texture. So I could draw some grass in here. And you can see I was starting to work on some of the details up front. All right, let's see how this looks. Okay, I think I'm getting somewhere. I'm not gonna lie, this is really difficult for me. This is not the style that I draw, and even though I love Van Gogh, this is not the style. But if I go back and show you some of Van Gogh's style, I think that I can see how even though this is not looking super good yet, I'm getting there. Like this one right here, let's look at this, okay? And jump over to mine. It's not good yet, but I'm on my way, okay? Anybody have any questions about that first choice in pencil drawing like Van Gogh on your iPad?